Hello and welcome back to BlueTube on YouTube, where we will be previewing this Saturday's match against Shrewsbury at Crowd Meadow, which is a 12:30 kickoff. It's been a long break again. I think this is the last break, isn't it, for a while? In fact, I think this is the last break all season, isn't it?
International
breaks? Oh, till March. Okay. I knew there was a bit of a while, so good. So hopefully we've done plenty of preparation. We'll go through everything we know about Shrewsbury up to date. There's a few changes to report on them. This will actually be the third game Blues have gone to Crowd Meadow this season.
It's getting boring now, isn't it?
Well, you know what I'm like on balances. Yeah, they owe us one, but I think we're going to be too strong for them. There's been a few changes, hasn't there, with the Shrewsbury team?
Yeah.
Well, certainly with their personnel. But yeah, so 12:30 kick-off again. I'm assuming that's a TV this Saturday. Sky.
Ooh. Oh, you might be right. I'm not entirely too sure. I hate all of that though. I do when it gets chopped and changed around and stuff. But yeah, I'd assume so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but things haven't been great for Shrewsbury this year, have they? I think they've the bottom of the table, propping everybody else up. They've literally just sacked their coach, 3rd of November.
That's the only thing we've got to be worried about, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
their coach, it was Paul Hurst, wasn't it? He went on the 3rd of November, but they brought in, not really too au fait with this guy. What's his
Pragmatic.
name? Gareth Ainsworth.
Looks like a rock star, doesn't it?
Well, he's been around for a little while. I mean, he was a midfielder, wasn't he? He's been at clubs like, let me think without looking, he was at Wimbledon, Wycombe Wanderers, where he actually went on, became player manager. He's been there a good 10, 12 years.
And don't forget, he had a short time in Black Sabbath as well.
Was he lead guitarist or something? No, like I say, he was player manager for Wycombe. Then he went on. He got quite a few Player of the Month awards there. He took them up from Division 2 to Division 1. Then, towards the end of his tenure, he was touted with other clubs, QPR being one, and he ended up there. And he didn't last too long there, unfortunately. Well, maybe fortunately for us. But he has got this go-get-em attitude. I think that's actually what he's been quoted as saying. He's got like an attack-minded. He was an attacking type winger, from what I remember.
I wouldn't discount him as a manager either, because QPR are our pants. And I don't really take much attention to opposition managers at the best of times, but he's always stuck out for me. He's quite a character, isn't he?
Yeah, he seems to. He's one of these that you think you know a bit about him, but actually when you look, you don't.
Yeah,
it's just that his face has been around for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So yeah, going back to Blues 3 times this year, we haven't played them at home yet, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But we haven't lost to them. But head-to-head, over the years, Blues have won 8 in 24 matches, drawn 6, lost 10 to Shrewsbury. There was a couple
Blues
of...
have actually played them. Last few opponents we've barely played them. You had the, who was it now, Northampton one, where we had that consecutive... Any consecutives on this one, or...?
Well, the only consecutives are the losses that Shrewsbury have got. They've lost like the last 7 or 8 games in a row totally. And you can see why. I mean, to be fair, I was listening to something earlier on from one of the reporters from Shrewsbury, and he was saying that the get up and go's just gone from the Shrewsbury fans, so they're quite excited about having Ainsworth in.
It's going to be a totally different, because, sorry, just thinking about the crowd that there was for that Bristol Street Motors game, and we had more fans in the away end than they did in the home end. I imagine they'll want to rectify that now, and I'm pretty sure they will now that they've got a new manager.
Well, yeah, he's expecting there to be a lot more fans down at Crowd Meadow. He's expecting Blues to sell out, as we always do, as well. So there should be a better atmosphere. Now, if the fans are feeling it, you expect that the players will as well. And this guy was even saying that there's going to be good competition for mixing it up a bit now. Maybe players that haven't been getting in the team will get in the team.
Yeah.
And they haven't got the worst squad looking. I was just looking at the squad earlier on. A couple of players, there's no real standouts, but there's a couple that sort of caught my attention. Josh Feeney from Villa's on loan there, one of the centre-backs. And they've got quite a half reputed sort of Leo Castledine from Chelsea on loan. Knew you was going to get that one. And then they haven't scored a lot of goals, have they? So a couple of forwards that they've got, George Lloyd, John Marquis, both have 3 goals each. But then they've got this attacking midfielder, Tommy O'Reilly, who's Scored 3 goals as well, but getting a few assists. So if he can get them ticking, it could be a tough game. I don't think Blues should worry too much. I think we should just play a game, but we'll get on to Blues in a bit. Not a lot of facts to find, but a fact about Shrewsbury, because I always like to throw... It's not a footballing fact, actually, to be honest.
Boo.
Anyone famous that you can think of that comes from Shrewsbury? Give you a clue. One footballer born in Shrewsbury played for Blues.
You've said this to me before. Joe Hart, is that
Yes.
confirmed, is it?
And going a little bit further back, didn't play football at all, I don't think. Charles Darwin comes from Shrewsbury.
Oh.
There you go. Interesting fact of the day. Have you still got anyone? Do you remember on the preview to the Northampton game where I mentioned Simon Sturridge? He's a tenuous link for you. Simon Sturridge played for both Blues and Shrewsbury. So a couple of ex-players that played for both teams. We got Noel Blake, Bobby Hopkins. Noel Blake.
Oh,
Bobby
I don't
Hopkins.
know who that is.
I love Bobby Hopkins. One of my favourite players back in the 80s. And Digger Davis.
Oh,
Played
okay.
for Shrewsbury
There we
as
go.
well. Yep.
Going in for me as well. Look at that.
One for your lifetime.
Yeah.
Right, shall we get on to the Blues?
Oh, do you know, I'm feeling rusty with talking about it. It honestly feels like it has been an age since we've been out here. It looks like we've gone through an ice age out here as well. You guys won't be able to see it, but there's snow all on the roof. It's freezing cold out here.
No,
We're trying to figure the lights out and that, weren't we? It's been a long time,
High
hasn't
blood
it?
pressure keeps you warm.
But yeah,
Don't
come
do
on then.
that. Don't recommend that at all.
Let's talk about the Blues then.
So, getting into it. So, apparently Bielik's fit. I don't think he went off with anything serious. There's no reports there. We had a lot of players in action over the international break.
Did you hear about Samstead?
Yes, but there's no real news on him at the moment.
Did he get stretchered off though?
No, the way I didn't see it, but I heard that he was sort of assisted off with a couple of players and he sort of limped off that way.
It's not a good
But I'm
look,
not
is
sure
it?
exactly what it's. But there's no news from the camp yet, but you don't want any of our players to be
Well, it won't
injured.
be. It was
really,
only time of recording. I think it was the day before yesterday, was it? So it hasn't been too long yet. But I hope he's all right anyway.
But reports Buchanan is very close now. He's been training. Emil Hansen and Scott Wright are still out. That's going to be... We were initially told that the news would be around now about what's happening with them, but I think it's still the same at the minute. They're not really saying a lot about that one. Lyndon Dykes played in the 2 games that Scotland had just played. Apparently played really well. I didn't watch any of the games. Did you see the Scotland games? No, apparently he put up a good performance in both games.
No, they won, didn't they, just to maintain a spot, but he didn't score in that game. I know that he started 2-1.
Yeah, I know that. Paik played for South Korea.
Oh, nice.
He came on in their win against Kuwait. He didn't play in their other game. So it's good to see him stretching his legs and coming back fit.
Yeah.
Peacock Farrell was named on the bench for Northern Ireland but didn't get a start or didn't get a look.
Do you know, that'll be down to the fact that he's not playing football regularly for us, that will.
Yeah, possibly. But and then the last one, Willemsen, we've already mentioned Iceland. He came on late against Wales. Didn't make much of an
Lost
impact.
4-1.
But I'd rather see them just stretching their legs rather than getting stuck into these games so they come back to us fit.
I agree.
Because he does it for us, even if he's not doing it for Iceland, as long as he's doing it for the Blues. That's all I care. Just wanted to mention at this point, I've seen a couple of articles about Sanderson, and there's the touting up that he might be moving away from Blues in January. Have you seen anything about that?
Well, apart from hearing from you, no, I haven't heard too much
Seen
about
a
it.
couple online now.
My instant reactions to it are... I'll be totally honest with you. Not to contradict what I say, I do like Sanderson, but I'm not overly gutted if it does turn out to be a move away. Only because, looking at that player, it does depend greatly on this player who we're rumoured to be bringing in. And I don't think they'll let Sanderson go unless you've got someone about to come into the fray. So if it is that player that's rumoured from Germany, I can't remember the name, Newman, that's it, yeah.
Newman.
Then I'm not. I don't think it's much of a
Yeah.
loss. I do like Sanderson though. It would be a
An old
shame.
saying comes to mind, isn't "Don't count your chickens." Do you know what I mean? But is it all based on one mistake? You know, in the last game, which I'm not going to harp on about.
No,
Do you know what
I don't
mean?
think it
'Cause
is.
he's
Of
got
course it
too-
isn't.
For me, he's got too much to offer, and he's like well loved down the Blues players and not so much the fans now, but he should be really for what he's done for us.
Is it enough to offer though? Because there's always going to be someone with more to offer, isn't there? And with the way that the club's going at the moment, we want more, don't we?
We always will want more, won't we? It's just that we haven't had a lot recently. So
Yeah, so it's hard,
as
isn't
much
it?
as we
And
can
when
get
we've had
out,
players
it is
stay for a long
difficult. But
time, it's difficult.
personally, I'd like to see him stay. But moving back onto the game against Shrewsbury, then this is going to sound like a parrot, but thoughts for the team. It is because, and I've seen it so many other places now about how we should be playing up front, and ultimately it's Chris Davis's decision. A lot of people are now saying Stansfield on one of the flanks, with
Yeah.
Alfie May either starting or on the bench, with Willemsen in as number 10.
Well, we're not going to want to go back into the Northampton game too much and bring up that. That was a painful way to. I mean, I was tempted to say lose just now because of how it felt.
It still feels like we've
Still
lost.
feels
doesn't
like
it?
a loss,
It's,
doesn't it?
it's a blip on our form, isn't it? It really being at home, all those fans down there. Yeah, but so going from the back then, stay obviously with us up in goal. If Bielik's fit, which I think he should be, Bielik and Clara, Buchanan, Cochrane. Buchanan, you never know, might be on the bench, but he's getting there. Cochrane on the left, with Ethan Laird starting on the right as normal.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And then
Do you know, just quickly, sorry to cut you off, I do
Go
want to mention something. I do agree that Ethan Laird should be our first choice. He's a wonderful right back, and he makes the most out of his attacking ability. He gets forward. Delivery needs a lot of work, mind you. But I do feel sorry for Taylor Gardner-Hickman. I don't think he's really put a foot wrong, and he's been just
Well, even
shepherded out.
Samstead when he's fit.
Samstead hasn't really had too much of a look in there.
He hasn't, but I tell you what, he's class when he gets started. I was involved in a conversation in the last week where someone was saying that Ethan Laird is more of a right winger, which I can see that, but they were just a bit disappointed because he's like in a transitional sort of position where he's expected to do a lot of duties as right back, chasing back a lot of energy, but they were thinking that his final sort of delivery isn't always there.
I agree.
in
I
a
think it
cross.
needs work, yeah.
But you think the energy levels, that guy, and Cochrane, they must be the most energetic players on the pitch. They must cover, apart from like your Pakes and your Watters, the ground that they cover, box to box.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
can understand why you want a decent backup for those positions. And it highlights how well Cochrane has done because he doesn't stop running. And touch wood, he hasn't put a foot wrong yet, has he? He's like, he'll end up being like player's player or something like that at the end of the season, Cochrane, because he's just been there, done it, and just keeps on doing it.
Do you know, you've made me think of something there, actually. You've really made a good point about our fullbacks, and I've just had a horrible thought, you know, and once again, touchwood and all that good stuff about this not happening. But I think if you took any one of the players out of this team, and I know people immediately might go to the Iwata and Pakes, but I think if a player like Cochrane gets injured, that's something that you'd notice the most, I think, because of how consistent he's been. He's the one who's played the most amount of minutes, the amount of impact that he has, you know, covering right there on the flank, comes inside. Yeah, on the attack as well.
Yeah, exactly. Some of he's had a good few assists now. I don't know what the figures are exactly, but
Let's hope that we don't get that question answered though, and that he stays fit and stays in the team.
Exactly.
I don't know why we've just brought that into the
I'd like to see. I'd like to see Buchanan work under Chris Davis as well.
Yeah.
Even if it's just overlapping them, just to see how to bring Buchanan through when he is fit, to rest Cochrane.
Still a good
especially
player.
we've got December and those Christmas games to come up. There's going to be a lot of games coming up.
I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, it gets absolutely mad going into the December. And if we do well in like the FA Cup as well and the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, more and more games are going to have to be put back. And soon we're going to have like 4 games in hand or something ridiculous
It's not
like
looking good, is it? When the first one came along, Exeter, I think it was. Oh, you're thinking, oh, that's a nice game to have in the bag, but
yeah,
when they start mounting up,
Cambridge,
it's not,
we've
is
still
it?
got to play as well. We've got Stevenage now. That's been put back. There's loads.
Yeah,
and we're getting put back now.
We need to try and get them out of the way. In fact, when we have these weeks, like in the midweek when we don't have a game, we need to try and get squeezing games in, don't we? So I don't know who's involved in arranging that, but it'd be interesting to see get done. So yeah, I'd stick with Paik, Iwata, midfield. Boring. I'm saying it again. Willemsen, as I say, number 10. Anderson left, or would you bring Yokohama in? I ask that question every time. Or do you go with a regimented, but just swap those players at the front that you need to swap around Stansfield on the right with May coming in, or do you bring May on in the second half and let him have a good go in the
we are
in the
rapidly
nine position?
we are rapidly approaching this period that we've just mentioned, where we're going to have games coming at us thick and fast, and we will inevitably need to rotate the team to keep up with it. I think we need to start preparing for that now by slightly rotating the squad. I would have Yokoyama start based on that, and I mean, more importantly, he's a brilliant player. Not to say anything on Anderson, but I just love the burst of pace, the energy, the intensity
Yeah.
that you get with Yokoyama. I want to see him start a game, and I think for him that would be good as well. But I don't think, I think Chris Davies is stuck here. I think that he wants to, but I still think that he's got a lot to learn in terms of learning the language and the cultures and things and ways of playing the English game before he gets to that point where Davies says, right, I trust you now, go out there. But
But
he's
he's
getting
doing
there.
it every game he plays. He shines.
My case in point is, I feel
Yeah.
as though Yokoyama will get his chance and he will get his starts. I think he's just got that little bit more development to do
Yeah.
because he hasn't played in this country before. I think that is what it's down to. Because as you've pointed out, you can see his class, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely he is. But if he's good enough on the pitch and if he's old enough to play, like some old manager said once, get him in.
Fair enough.
Right, so let's do score predictions.
Oh, we're at that time already. How long
Yeah,
have
why
we
not?
been going? Blimey, this has flown by this as we have missed this, haven't we? I was gutted with the one last time, Northampton.
Should have been 1-0.
1-0, Stansfield,
been 4-0
bang
really.
on, spot on. I was thinking, I just know my stuff, don't I? And they had to go and score, didn't they? Which
Yeah.
couldn't be right.
New manager bounce.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. So I don't know how much that's going to play a part in this game. It shouldn't really. We should be raring to go, and I think wanting to bounce back from that loss against Northampton. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Blues, and I'm going to say Williamson and Stansfield to score.
Okay. I am going to be forever promisingly optimistic and go for
12-0.
getting back onto it now. 3-0. I'm going 3-0. I think this is the ground where we go and have our shooting practice.
Okay.
I think we're in that swing. I know I go on
Jinxed it now.
probabilities and bounces and stuff like that, and they are due. But no, I think we'll still be too strong for them. They're going to be finding the feet. I think my head probably tells me it'd be a 1-1 draw, which I'd hate, but my heart tells me we're going to go out and
Oh, we can't
get a
draw
win.
this one.
I think that's probably... They'd be happy with a 1-1 draw at home, wouldn't they? With the new manager against Blues.
I've just caught myself saying that we can't draw this one, as if a loss isn't actually something that could
I
happen.
know, this is it. We've
You've
got
gotta
to
be
start.
careful.
We will come unstuck.
Proper, yeah, if
And
we're not
that's
careful.
what Chris Davis will be looking at. He'll get them. He'll get the heads in the right places.
Goal scorers.
Goal scorers for the three. I'm going Stansfield, Williamson as usual, and I'm going to say that Anderson is going to cut in from the left hand side and slot one on the left post, just inside the left post.
Overly
On the
specific,
fifth-
but I
on
love
the
it.
56th minute. Here's
Right.
something that has become a bit of a tradition with our previews, isn't it?
Do you know, I thought you
We
were about to
have-
close the video there. What else have you got?
Just want to mention that our ref
Go on.
this week
Oh, no.
is Sonny Singh Gill.
Oh, yeah. Good friend of mine.
He no, Sonny. Yeah, you'll remember this. He was criticised by Mike Dean because he was seen outside of one of the stadiums before a match signing autographs. And I don't know if it was because of that, but he ended up just refereeing one Premier match. I think it was something like the Luton game or something like last season. One of the lower Premier League. No disrespect to them, but it was one of the lower Premier League games. But he has been around the Championship, League One, League Two. Supposed to be a half decent referee, to be fair. So.
I'm going to say something that's unpopular here. Referees should really be in the background of games, just there to do a job.
Always said that.
I
The
agree.
best games, you don't notice the refs.
No, I do. But as long as they're doing their job there, if someone wants their autograph, because he's not going up to someone, is he, and going, "Oh yeah, let us sign that. You are massive, I am." If someone's there, like, look, you're a part of this game, and maybe it meant something to them, and they think, "I'm just going to get it."
For me,
They
when you
can't.
analyse that a bit,
I don't think so personally.
when you analyse that, the way I think of that is, when do you ever see a ref going in and coming out the ground?
Yeah, do you reckon he's purposely gone that way in front of the
I
fans?
don't know.
Gone
But
out full kit as well.
I've
Flag over his shoulder.
in my like few years of supporting football and going, like down the Blues for years, and some away games as well. I can't remember ever seeing a referee, and I've waited to get as a kid, and to get the shirt signed, and that I've waited around for fans and seen the manager and chatted to the players going in and out, but I have never seen a referee go in or come out. Wouldn't know where they park, where they go in, where they come out. You'd think that would be a little bit protected. So to be in a position where you're able to sign autographs.
You make a very good point here.
But anyway,
It's quite funny, though.
we'll wrap it up there, shall we? So,
Yeah. Welcome back. Firstly, I know that it's been a while. If you haven't already, we have started a new series. Please do check it out. It's called Deep Dives, where we'll be looking into some of the people in the background of the runnings of the club. And we've started it off with Gary Cook. It will consist of people like Tom Wagner, Knighthead, Craig Gardner, might even go into Chris Davis and perhaps some of the backroom staff to do with the first team. And also your recommendations as well. Anyone else who you think that we should be doing a little bit more of a digging into for your education, I suppose, let us know, because we're really enjoying making those at the moment. So stay tuned for more. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. It is good to be back. And we'll see you on Saturday. Take care, guys.